There is a poison most men drink willingly. They smile when they should remain silent. They agree when they should stand firm. They bend so often that eventually they forget what it feels like to stand straight. And here is the tragedy. They call this poison kindness. They call it humility. They call it being a good person. But Machiavelli had another name for it. He called it weakness dressed in virtue. And that weakness has cost more men their power, their purpose, and their peace than any enemy ever could. Now before we go any further, I need to ask you something. If you have watched even one video on this channel and felt something shift inside you, if these words have made you pause and reflect, yet you still have not subscribed, then I must ask you a difficult question. Why do you keep taking without committing? You see, the men who built empires understood that loyalty is not passive. It is a choice. It is an action. If this channel gives you clarity, if it gives you an edge that most men will never possess, then prove that you are not like most men. Subscribe now. Not later. Not after this video. Now. Because the man who hesitates to commit to the things that serve him is the same man who wonders why his life never changes. Do not be that man. Subscribe and become part of a circle that most will never even know exists. Now let us begin with a truth that will unravel everything you thought you knew about human connection. The desire to be liked is not a desire at all. It is a fear. It is the fear of being alone. The fear of being rejected. The fear of being seen as less than. And this fear has been weaponized against you since the moment you were born. You were taught to share your toys so others would like you. You were taught to say sorry even when you did nothing wrong. You were taught to smile at people who disrespected you. And you were taught that if enough people liked you, you would finally feel complete. But you do not feel complete, do you? You feel exhausted. You feel invisible. You feel like no matter how much you give, it is never enough. And here is why. You have been playing a game that was designed for you to lose. Because the moment you chase being liked, you hand your power to everyone except yourself. Machiavelli understood this 500 years ago. In the corridors of Florence, in the chambers where dukes and princes decided the fate of nations, he watched men rise and fall. And he noticed something peculiar. The men who were loved were rarely the men who ruled. The men who sought approval were rarely the men who commanded it. And the men who bent to please everyone often found themselves broken by anyone. So he wrote words that would echo through centuries. Words that most people misunderstand. Words that you are about to understand perhaps for the first time in your life. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But wait. Before you think this is a call to become cruel, to become cold, to become a tyrant, let me stop you. Because you have been lied to about what this means. Fear in the Machiavellian sense is not terror. It is not violence. It is not intimidation. Fear is respect that does not waver. Fear is the certainty in another person's mind that you cannot be manipulated. Fear is the silent understanding that your word is your bond. Your boundaries are unbreakable, and your presence demands acknowledgement. That is the fear Machiavelli spoke of. And that fear is simply another word for something you have been starving for your entire life. Respect. Think about this for a moment. Think about the last time you felt truly invisible in a room full of people. Think about the last time someone spoke over you and you said nothing. Think about the last time you did a favor for someone who would never do the same for you. How did it feel? Not in that moment, but later. When you were alone. When the silence reminded you of what you allowed. Comment below and tell me this. How many times have you given respect to people who never gave it back? Be honest. Because honesty is the first step toward power. Now let me take you somewhere. Let me take you to a place where this lesson becomes unforgettable. Lesson 1. In the year 1494, the city of Florence was in chaos. The Medici family, who had ruled for generations, was collapsing. Armies from France marched toward the city. And in this moment of crisis, a man named Piero de Medici made a decision that would erase his family's power for years to come. He went to meet the French king. And he begged. He offered everything. Territory. Money. Submission. He smiled. He agreed. He made himself likable. and the people of Florence watched in horror as their leader groveled before a foreign invader. Do you know what happened next? The people did not thank Piero for keeping the peace. They did not praise him for avoiding bloodshed. They exiled him. They stripped his family of power. They threw stones at his name. Because in that moment, Piero revealed something unforgivable. He revealed that he valued being accepted more than being respected. He revealed that his spine was made of paper. And no one follows a man made of paper. Now here is what most people miss about this story. Piero was not stupid. He was not evil. He genuinely believed he was doing the right thing. He believed that by being agreeable, by avoiding conflict, by making the French king like him, he would save his city. But he did not understand something that you must burn into your memory. People do not follow those who avoid conflict. People follow those who are worth the conflict. That is a line you should write down. Comment it below right now. People do not follow those who avoid conflict. People follow those who are worth the conflict. Machiavelli watched all of this unfold. He was young then, a clerk in the Florentine government. But he remembered. And years later, when he wrote his masterpiece, he returned to this moment again and again. Because Piero's mistake was not unique. It was universal. It was the same mistake men make in boardrooms today. The same mistake men make in relationships. The same mistake you have probably made more times than you want to admit. Here is the pattern. A man wants to be accepted, so he softens his opinions. He laughs at jokes that are not funny. He agrees with things he does not believe. He lets small disrespects slide. He tells himself this is diplomacy. This is social intelligence. This is how you win people over. But slowly, invisibly, something happens. People stop listening when he speaks. His ideas get credited to others. His boundaries get tested and crossed. His presence becomes forgettable. And one day he wakes up and realizes that all the liking in the world has not given him an inch of real influence. He has 100 acquaintances and 0 allies. He has approval but no power. He has been so busy being acceptable that he forgot to become undeniable. Does this sound familiar? If it does, do not feel shame. Shame is useless here. Awareness is what matters. And awareness is what separates the man who stays trapped from the man who breaks free. Lesson 2. Now let me reveal the mechanism behind this trap. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The human brain is wired for social survival. Thousands of years ago, being rejected from your tribe meant death. You would be alone in the wilderness. No food, no protection, no chance. So your brain developed a system. A warning system. A system that punishes you with pain whenever you risk rejection. That system is still running today. It did not get the update that told it you live in a world of 8 billion people. It still thinks you are in a tribe of 50 and that every social rejection is a death sentence. So when you speak up in a meeting and someone frowns, your brain floods you with anxiety. When you set a boundary with a friend and they get upset, your brain screams that you have made a terrible mistake. When you refuse to agree with someone powerful, your brain tells you that you are in danger. But here is what your brain does not tell you. That anxiety is not wisdom. It is an echo from a world that no longer exists. And if you keep obeying it, you will keep living a life designed for a caveman, not a king. The men who command respect have learned to override this system. They feel the anxiety just like you do. Their brains scream the same warnings. But they do not obey. They pause. They breathe. And they act according to their values, not their fears. This is not natural. It takes practice. It takes repetition. It takes failing again and again until your nervous system learns that rejection does not kill you. That disagreement does not destroy you. That standing alone sometimes is the only way to stand at all. Let me give you a modern example. And pay close attention because this might be exactly where you are stuck right now. A man works in a company. He is smart. He is capable. He is liked by almost everyone. But he has not been promoted in years. He watches people with less talent rise above him. He sees his ideas get stolen and repackaged by others. He seethes in silence but says nothing because he does not want to cause problems. He tells himself that his time will come. That if he just keeps working hard and being nice, someone will finally recognize his value. But no one does. And do you know why? Because he has trained everyone around him that he has no limits. He has taught them through 1,000 small submissions that he can be overlooked and he will still show up with a smile. He has communicated without words that his respect is free. And anything that is free is eventually taken for granted. Now here is the twist. This man is not failing because he is too kind. He is failing because he is kind without boundaries. He is giving without discrimination. He is available to everyone, which means he is valuable to no one. And this is the paradox of respect that most men never grasp. Respect is not given to those who are available. Respect is given to those who must be earned. Write that down. Tattoo it somewhere, you will see it every day. Because until you understand this, you will keep repeating the same patterns and wondering why you feel so empty despite doing everything right. Lesson 3. Let me tell you about a different kind of man. A man who understood what we are discussing before he ever read a word of philosophy. His name does not matter. What matters is what he did. He joined a company at the same level as everyone else. He was not the smartest. He was not the most talented. But within 5 years, he was running a division while people who started with him were still fighting for scraps. And here is what people said about him. They said he was intimidating. They said he was hard to read. They said he did not waste words. They said you never quite knew where you stood with him. They said he was respected but not necessarily liked. And when I met him, I asked him directly, "How did you do it? How did you rise so fast in a world where people with more talent stayed stuck?" He smiled and said something I will never forget. "I stopped trying to be invited to every room and started making sure that when I was in a room, it mattered." Think about that. Most men exhaust themselves trying to be included everywhere. They want every invitation, every opportunity, every acknowledgement. They spread themselves thin trying to be a presence in every space. But this man did the opposite. He was selective. He was rare. He made his presence mean something precisely because it was not guaranteed. And here is the psychological principle underneath this. Scarcity creates value. Availability destroys it. When you are always available, always agreeable, always present, you become background noise. People stop noticing you because you have given them no reason to notice. You have become part of the scenery. But when you are selective, when your agreement must be earned, when your presence is deliberate, something shifts in how people perceive you. They start to wonder. They start to pay attention. They start to treat your time and your opinion as valuable because you treat it as valuable first. This is not manipulation. This is self-respect made visible. Now let me ask you something. And I want you to really think about this before you answer. When was the last time you said no to something you did not want to do? Not a polite no followed by an excuse. A real no. A no that stood on its own and required no explanation. If you cannot remember, that is your diagnosis. You have been saying yes to your own erasure. And every yes that contradicts your values is a vote against your own power. Comment below with one word. Either yes if you struggle with this or free if you have already mastered it. I want to see where you stand. Because this community is built on honesty. And honesty requires that you see yourself clearly. Lesson 4. Now we need to go deeper. Because understanding this intellectually is not enough. You need to understand it in your bones. Machiavelli made a distinction that most people overlook. He said there are 2 ways to fight. By law and by force. Law is the way of men. Force is the way of beasts. And a prince must know how to use both. But here is where he got truly dangerous. He said the prince must be a fox and a lion. The fox to recognize traps. The lion to frighten wolves. A prince who is only a lion does not understand traps. A prince who is only a fox has no power when traps fail. What does this have to do with respect versus liking? Everything. The man who only seeks to be liked is a fox with no lion. He can navigate social situations. He can read the room. He can avoid conflicts. But when a wolf comes, and wolves always come, he has nothing. He gets devoured. His cleverness means nothing because he has no teeth behind it. But the man who commands respect has both. He understands social dynamics. He knows when to speak and when to stay silent. But underneath that social grace is a foundation that cannot be moved. There is steel inside him, and people can sense it. Not because he threatens, not because he intimidates, but because something in his presence communicates that he cannot be pushed without consequence. This is what Machiavelli meant by fear. Not cruelty, but substance. The unspoken communication that you are dealing with someone real. Someone with depth. Someone who will still be standing when the storm passes. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Two men receive criticism from their boss. The same words, the same tone, but their responses reveal everything. The first man immediately agrees. He apologizes. He promises to do better. He seeks to make the boss like him again. He leaves the meeting feeling relieved that the conflict is over. The second man listens carefully. He acknowledges what is valid in the criticism, but then he calmly disputes what is unfair. He does not raise his voice. He does not become defensive. He simply states his perspective with quiet confidence. He accepts responsibility for his mistakes, but refuses to accept blame for things outside his control. He leaves the meeting having made his position clear. Now here is the question. Which man does the boss respect more? The answer is obvious. But the reason is what matters. The first man communicated that he will accept anything to avoid discomfort. He revealed that his agreement can be purchased with pressure. He showed that his reality is negotiable. The second man communicated that he is fair and reasonable, but that fairness goes both ways. He revealed that his agreement must be earned, not coerced. He showed that his reality has boundaries. The boss may prefer the first man in the moment. He is easier to deal with. But the boss will promote the second man. The boss will trust the second man with real responsibility. Because the boss knows that the second man will hold the line when things get hard. The second man has demonstrated that he has a spine. And spines are rare. Spines get promoted. Spines get respected. Spines get remembered. Lesson 5. Now let me address something you might be thinking. You might be thinking that this sounds exhausting. That you do not want to be in constant conflict. That you just want peace. I understand. And here is the truth that will set you free. Commanding respect is not about conflict. It is about preventing conflict. Let me explain. When you are liked but not respected, people constantly test your boundaries. They push. They take. They see what they can get away with. And every time you let something slide, you invite more tests. Your life becomes a series of small violations that drain your energy and erode your sense of self. You think you are avoiding conflict, but you are actually creating it. You are just spreading it out over time instead of facing it directly. But when you are respected, something different happens. People do not test you because they already know where the line is. They know that crossing it has consequences. So they do not cross it. Paradoxically, the man willing to face conflict experiences less of it. Because his willingness itself is the deterrent. This is the hidden tax of being liked. You pay for the temporary comfort of avoiding confrontation with the permanent cost of endless small battles. And those small battles add up. They add up in your energy. They add up in your health. They add up in the quiet resentment you feel every day but never express. The man who chooses respect pays a different price. He faces the discomfort of honesty up front. He endures the temporary friction of setting boundaries. But then he is free. People know who he is. People know what he accepts. And people either respect that or they leave. Either way, he wins. Now I want you to think about your own life. Think about the people who drain you the most. The ones who ask too much. The ones who take without giving. The ones who leave you feeling empty after every interaction. I guarantee you something. At some point in your relationship with them, you failed to set a boundary. At some point, You chose to be liked instead of respected. And now you are paying the interest on that decision every single day. This is not meant to shame you. This is meant to wake you up. Because you can change this. You can start today. You can draw a line that you will not cross, and you can hold it. And the first time someone encounters that line and realizes it is real, everything will shift. They will not like you less. They will respect you more. And if they leave, they were never worth keeping. If you are still watching this, you are not like most people. Most people clicked away minutes ago. Most people were uncomfortable with the truth and went looking for something softer. But you stayed. And that tells me something about you. It tells me you are ready. So if you have not subscribed yet, do it now. Not because I am asking, but because you are proving to yourself that you commit to the things that serve your growth. The subscribe button is a small act, but small acts reveal character. And character is everything. Lesson 6. Now let me take you further into Machiavelli's mind. Because there is another dimension to this that most people miss entirely. Machiavelli understood that human beings are fundamentally driven by two forces: fear and desire. Fear of loss, desire for gain. And he made an observation that seems cruel but is simply accurate. Men forget the death of their father sooner than the loss of their patrimony. What does this mean? It means that people are more affected by losing their money than by losing their loved ones. Not because they do not love, but because loss hits a different part of the brain than grief. It triggers survival instincts. It triggers fear. And fear is more immediately powerful than love. Now apply this to respect versus liking. When you are merely liked, you exist in the realm of desire. People desire your company. They desire your approval. They desire the good feelings you provide. But desires are fickle. Desires change with mood and circumstance. What I desire today, I may not desire tomorrow. So if your entire value to someone is based on being liked, you are always one mood shift away from being forgotten. But when you are respected, you exist in the realm of fear. Not terror, but consequence. People know that losing your respect means something. People know that crossing you has costs. This is not a conscious calculation they make. It is instinctive. It is primal. And it is far more stable than liking. Here is a hard truth. The people you try hardest to please are often the people who respect you the least. And the people who respect you the most are often the people you have disappointed at least once. Because disappointment is how people discover your boundaries. It is how they learn what matters to you. It is how they see that you are not infinitely malleable. Think about someone you deeply respect. I mean truly respect. Not someone you like. Not someone who entertains you. Someone whose opinion you value. Someone whose judgment you trust. Someone you would not want to disappoint. Now ask yourself, have they ever disappointed you? Have they ever told you no? Have they ever held a position you disagreed with and refused to budge? Almost certainly yes. And did that decrease your respect for them? Almost certainly no. In fact, it probably increased it. Because every time they held their ground, they proved to you that their values were not negotiable. That their character was not performance. That what you saw was what you got. This is the architecture of respect. It is built from 1,000 small moments where someone chooses truth over comfort. Consistency over approval. Substance over surface. Lesson 7. There is a concept in psychology called the pratfall effect. It is counterintuitive but essential to understand. The pratfall effect says that competent people become more likable when they make a mistake. But incompetent people become less likable when they make the same mistake. Why does this matter? Because it reveals something profound about how human beings assess each other. We do not simply evaluate actions. We evaluate actions in context of character. A mistake from someone we perceive as strong is humanizing. A mistake from someone we perceive as weak is confirming. Now apply this to respect. When you have established respect, you have far more room to be human. You can make errors. You can show vulnerability. You can even fail. Because people interpret these moments through the lens of your established character. They see a strong person having a hard moment. They see depth. They see realness. But when you have no respect, every mistake confirms your weakness. Every failure is evidence. Every vulnerability is exploited. People interpret the same actions completely differently based on whether they respect you or merely like you. This is why chasing liking first is so dangerous. You are trying to build a house starting with the roof. Without the foundation of respect, every brick of liking you add makes the structure more unstable. But with respect as your foundation, liking can be added safely. It becomes a decoration, not a load-bearing wall. So stop trying to be liked before you are respected. It cannot work. The math does not add up. Build respect first. Always. Then let liking follow naturally. Lesson 8. Now let me tell you about a man who understood this better than almost anyone in modern history. His name was Charles de Gaulle, the leader of Free France during World War II. The man who rebuilt French dignity from the ashes of Nazi occupation. De Gaulle was not a likable man. He was cold. He was arrogant. He was difficult. Even his allies found him exhausting. Churchill once said that of all the crosses he had to bear, the heaviest was the cross of Lorraine, the symbol of de Gaulle's movement. And yet, when France was liberated, it was de Gaulle who walked through Paris at the head of the victory parade. It was de Gaulle who the people cheered. It was de Gaulle who became the symbol of French resilience and French pride. Why? Because de Gaulle never sought to be liked. He sought to be respected. And in seeking respect, he made France itself respectable again. There is a story about de Gaulle that captures this perfectly. During the war, Roosevelt and Churchill essentially tried to sideline him. They did not take him seriously. They saw France as defeated and de Gaulle as a nuisance. They made decisions about France's future without consulting him. But de Gaulle refused to accept this. He insisted on being treated as an equal, even when he had no power to enforce it. He acted as though France was still a great nation, even when it was occupied. He behaved with the dignity of a leader whose country was intact. And here is what happened. Because he refused to accept a lesser position, others eventually stopped offering him one. His insistence on respect created the conditions for respect to be given. His refusal to be liked made him impossible to ignore. This is the psychology of respect in its purest form. You do not receive respect by asking for it. You receive respect by behaving as though you already have it. You create the reality you insist upon. Now let me ask you, what reality are you insisting upon? When you enter a room, do you behave like someone who matters or someone hoping to be noticed? When you speak, do you communicate like someone with something to say or someone asking permission to exist? When you are challenged, do you respond like someone with a foundation or someone whose foundation is borrowed? Your answers to these questions determine everything. Comment below and tell me which one resonates most with you. Which one do you need to work on? Be specific, because clarity precedes change. Lesson 9. Now we need to address the hardest part of all this. The part that stops most men cold. How do you actually become someone who commands respect? Not in theory, in practice. Starting today. Here is the first principle. You must become comfortable with silence. Most men fill every silence with words. They talk to ease tension. They talk to seem agreeable. They talk because silence feels dangerous to them. But this habit communicates weakness. It communicates that you are uncomfortable with yourself. That you need constant external validation. That you cannot tolerate the empty space. Respected men are comfortable with silence. They speak when they have something to say. They let pauses stretch without rushing to fill them. They create space for others to reveal themselves while they observe. This is not aloofness. This is presence. This is the silent communication that you do not need to prove anything. Practice this tomorrow. In one conversation, let a silence last twice as long as feels comfortable. Just observe. Notice how others react. Notice how you feel. This small exercise will teach you more about power than any book. Here is the second principle. You must have opinions and you must express them. Not aggressive opinions shouted to prove dominance. but clear positions held with quiet confidence. When someone asks what you think, tell them. When you disagree, say so. When you see something wrong, name it. Most men have trained themselves to hedge. They say things like I could be wrong or I mean this is just my opinion. They soften everything to the point of meaninglessness. They communicate that their own thoughts are not worth standing behind. Stop doing this. If you think something, say it plainly. If you believe something, own it fully. Let others disagree. Let them challenge you. But do not retreat before the battle even begins by undermining yourself. Here is the third principle. You must be willing to disappoint. This is perhaps the hardest of all. Because you have been trained since childhood that disappointing others is a moral failure. That good people do not disappoint. That being a source of disappointment means you are somehow bad. This is a lie that keeps you enslaved. The truth is that all meaningful boundaries create disappointment in someone. If you set a limit on your time, someone who wanted more of it will be disappointed. If you hold a standard, someone who falls below it will be disappointed. If you choose yourself, someone who wanted you to choose them will be disappointed. This is the cost of being a person with definition. And you must accept it. Not with cruelty, not with indifference, but with the understanding that disappointment is often the kindest thing you can give someone. Because it tells them the truth about who you are and what you value. It allows them to make informed decisions about how to relate to you. It respects them enough to be honest. Every time you fail to disappoint someone who deserved disappointment, you deprive them of real information and you deprive yourself of authentic relationships. Lesson 10. Now let me give you the deeper philosophy underneath all of this. Because without it, these principles become empty tactics. Machiavelli was not a cynic. He was a realist. He looked at human nature as it is, not as he wished it were. And he saw something that most moralists refuse to see. People respect strength because the world is uncertain. We live in chaos. We never know what is coming. We cannot predict the future. We cannot control external events. And this terrifies us. So we look for anchors. We look for people who seem stable in the storm. We look for those who project certainty when everything is uncertain. This is why respect goes to those who hold their ground. Not because strength is morally superior, but because strength is psychologically reassuring. In a world of chaos, the person who seems unmoved becomes a reference point. They become someone we orient around. When you seek to be liked, you become a mirror. You reflect whatever the other person wants to see. And mirrors are useful, but no one respects a mirror. No one looks to a mirror for guidance. No one follows a mirror into battle. When you seek to be respected, you become a pillar. You stand for something. You have shape. You cast a shadow. And pillars matter. People gather around pillars. People orient themselves by pillars. People remember pillars long after the mirrors are forgotten. So ask yourself now, are you living as a mirror or a pillar? Are you reflecting others or standing as yourself? Are you shaping yourself to fit or holding your shape while the world moves around you? The answer to this question determines everything about your life. Your relationships, your career, your legacy, your peace. Lesson 11. Let me share something personal. Because I did not always understand what I am teaching you now. There was a time when I was addicted to being liked. I shaped myself to every room I entered. I said what I thought people wanted to hear. I avoided conflict like it was poison. And on the surface, I was successful. People enjoyed my company. I had many friends. I received invitations. But I was hollow. Every night I went home feeling like a ghost. Like I had spent the day performing a character instead of being a person. I could not tell you what I actually believed because my beliefs changed depending on who I was with. I had no center because I had traded my center for approval. And then I hit a wall. Someone I deeply respected looked at me and said something that broke me open. I like you, but I do not know you. And I am not sure you know yourself either. Those words haunted me for months. Because they were true. I had been so busy being likable that I had never become someone. I had surface without depth. breadth without substance, connection without intimacy. That moment began a painful process of rebuilding myself from the inside out, learning to have opinions and hold them, learning to say no and mean it, learning to be disliked by some so that I could be truly known by any. And here is what I discovered on the other side. The people who matter do not want you to be likable. They want you to be real. They want to know who they are dealing with. They want the relief of not having to guess. Your authenticity is a gift to them, even when it is uncomfortable. Especially when it is uncomfortable. This is the paradox. By trying less to be liked, you become more connected. By risking rejection, you find belonging. By standing alone, you attract those worth standing with. I share this because I want you to know that what I am teaching you is not theory to me. It is survival. It is the path that took me from feeling invisible to feeling present. And it can do the same for you if you commit to it. Lesson 12. Now let me address a question that may be forming in your mind. What about compassion? What about kindness? Is this just about becoming cold and ruthless? Absolutely not. And this distinction is crucial. Respect and compassion are not opposites. They are partners. In fact, true compassion is impossible without respect. Think about it this way. When you are merely liked, your kindness is transactional. You give in order to receive approval. You help in order to be seen as helpful. Your generosity has strings attached, even if those strings are invisible. This is not true kindness. This is manipulation with a friendly face. But when you have established respect, your kindness becomes pure. You give without needing anything back because your sense of self is not dependent on the response. You help because it aligns with your values, not because it boosts your image. Your generosity has no strings because you are not grasping for anything. The respected man can be kind without being taken advantage of. He can be generous without being depleted. He can love without losing himself. This is why the Machiavellian path is not the path of cruelty. It is the path of sustainable virtue. It is kindness with a backbone. It is love without self-abandonment. It is giving from overflow rather than from desperation. The weak man's kindness is a trap for both him and the recipient. He gives too much and becomes resentful. The recipient takes too much and loses respect for the giver. Both end up worse. The strong man's kindness is a gift with no poison. He gives what he can truly afford. The recipient receives without guilt or obligation. Both are elevated. So do not hear this message as a call to become hard. Hear it as a call to become whole. Hardness is not strength. Hardness is brittleness waiting to shatter. True strength is flexible. It bends without breaking. It gives without emptying. It holds boundaries without holding grudges. Lesson 13. We are approaching the core now. The center of everything I want to leave you with. Machiavelli wrote that fortune is a woman. And if you wish to master her, you must beat and strike her. This sounds violent. It sounds misogynistic by modern standards. But understand what he actually meant. Fortune, fate, luck, whatever you call it. The forces of life are not gentle. They do not reward those who wait politely. They do not favor those who hope for the best. They favor those who act, those who assert, those who meet chaos with will. The man who waits to be liked is waiting for fortune to smile upon him. He hopes that if he is agreeable enough, life will treat him well. But life does not respond to politeness. Life responds to force of character. Life responds to those who grab it by the throat and demand their seat at the table. This is not about violence. This is about agency. The respected man takes action. He shapes circumstances rather than being shaped by them. He decides what he will tolerate and then enforces that decision. He meets life on his terms rather than accepting whatever terms are offered. And here is what happens when you live this way. Fortune begins to favor you. Not through magic, through mechanics. When you take action, you create opportunities. When you enforce standards, you attract quality. When you project strength, others treat you as strong. You create a self-fulfilling prophecy of respect. The liked man's prophecy is the opposite. By waiting and hoping and bending, he signals weakness. And weakness attracts exploitation. He creates the very circumstances he was trying to avoid. He becomes proof of his own fears. Which prophecy are you creating right now? Think carefully, because your answer is being written in every choice you make. Lesson 14. Let me give you a framework to apply immediately. A way to evaluate every situation through the lens of what we have discussed. Whenever you face a decision about how to act in a social situation, ask yourself 3 questions. First question. If I do this, will I respect myself tomorrow? Not will others respect me. Will I respect myself? Because external respect is built on internal respect. If you cannot look yourself in the mirror without flinching, others will sense it. They will know that your presentation is a lie. But if you consistently act in ways that earn your own respect, that congruence will radiate from you. Second question. Does this choice bring me closer to who I want to become or further away? Every action is a vote for your identity. When you agree to something that violates your values, you vote against yourself. When you stay silent about something that matters, you vote against yourself. When you choose comfort over growth, you vote against yourself. But when you do the hard thing that aligns with your vision, you vote for yourself. You become more of who you are meant to be. Third question. Am I doing this from love or from fear? This is the deepest question. Many behaviors that look good on the surface are actually fear in disguise. Agreeing because you fear conflict is not kindness. It is cowardice wearing kindness as a mask. But setting a boundary because you love yourself enough to protect your energy is strength, even if it looks unkind to some. Fear-based choices shrink you over time. Love-based choices expand you. Learn to tell the difference and choose accordingly. Use these 3 questions as a filter. Apply them before important conversations. Apply them when you feel the urge to bend or break your values for approval. They will clarify what you truly want versus what your fear is demanding. Lesson 15. We are nearing the end now. But before we finish, I need to give you a warning. The path from liked to respected is not comfortable. People who are used to the old you will resist the new you. They will test you. They will accuse you of changing. They will try to push you back into the box they had built for you. This is inevitable. Expect it. Some people in your life have a vested interest in your weakness. Not because they are evil, but because your weakness served them. Your compliance made their life easier. Your lack of boundaries meant they never had to consider yours. Your eagerness to please meant they never had to work for your approval. When you change, you disrupt this arrangement. And disruption is uncomfortable for everyone involved. Some of these people will adapt. They will come to respect the new you, even if the transition is rocky. They will recognize that your changes are healthy, and they will adjust their behavior accordingly. But some will not. Some will leave. Some will become hostile. Some will try to undermine you or shame you back into compliance. Let them go. This is the price of respect. It is a filter. It separates those who valued you from those who valued what you provided. It separates real relationships from arrangements of convenience. It separates allies from parasites. The people who remain after you become respected are the people worth keeping. They are the ones who want you, not just what you give them. They are the ones who can handle your full self, not just your performing self. They are the ones who will walk with you through fire. And the ones who leave would have left eventually anyway. You just sped up the timeline. You just stopped wasting years on connections that had no foundation. This is painful. I will not pretend it is easy. But it is necessary. And on the other side of this pain is a life surrounded by people who truly see you and truly choose you. That life is worth any temporary loss. Lesson 16. Now let me speak to you directly. Not as a teacher. As someone who walks the same path you walk. You are watching this video for a reason. Something in you recognized that what you have been doing is not working. Something in you is hungry for a different way. Something in you is ready to stop performing and start becoming. That something is your authentic self. It has been waiting for you. It has been suffocating under the weight of all your attempts to be liked. It has been trying to get your attention for years. And now, in this moment, it is speaking louder than ever. Listen to it. That voice that told you this video might be different. That impulse that made you keep watching when others clicked away. That stirring in your chest as these words landed somewhere deep. That is your truth trying to surface. Do not ignore it anymore. You have spent enough years as a ghost. Enough years as a mirror. Enough years as someone who exists only in reflection of others' desires. It is time to become solid. It is time to become real. It is time to become the man that you have always sensed you could be but never gave yourself permission to pursue. That permission is granted. Right now. By this moment. By this message. By your own readiness. You do not need anyone else's approval to become who you are. That is the final irony. The man who stops seeking approval is the man who finally earns it. Lesson 17. Here is the vision I want to leave you with. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You have spent this year applying everything we discussed. You have practiced silence until it became comfortable. You have expressed opinions until they became natural. You have disappointed people who needed disappointing. You have held boundaries that once seemed impossible. What does your life look like? You enter rooms differently. There is a weight to your presence that was not there before. People notice when you arrive, and they notice when you leave. Not because you demand attention, but because your presence has substance. Your relationships have transformed. The people around you are different. Some are new. Some are old connections that have deepened. But all of them are real. All of them see you. All of them chose you, not your performance. Your work has changed. You are no longer overlooked. Your ideas carry weight. Your opinions are sought. You have been promoted or recognized or given opportunities that once seemed reserved for others. Because you stopped acting like someone who deserved the scraps and started acting like someone who deserved the meal. Most importantly, you feel different. That emptiness you used to feel is gone. That exhaustion from endless performing has lifted. You look in the mirror and you see someone you recognize. Someone you respect. Someone you would follow. This is not fantasy. This is what happens when you stop chasing liking and start building respect. This is what happens when you become the man Machiavelli described. Not ruthless. Not cold. But real. Substantial. Unmoved by the winds that blow others off course. This future is available to you. Starts with a decision. And that decision is made in moments like this one.